you know, to take a life of someone who can't fight for themselves is not something that we want to happen. And this would require the physician to let the pregnant mother know of the heartbeat and to hear it and to make records indicating that the procedure was performed. And it would create a Class C felony, which is the lowest of felonies for a physician who violated this law. That's the synopsis. Senator Williams is the sponsor of this in the House.
Senator Williams, you're the sponsor in the Senate. Would you like to make a comment as the sponsor as well?
I'll do that now.
You're recognized, okay. Senator.
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, I'm proud to be carrying this bill. The fetal heartbeat bill, I mean, here's the bottom line for me. If a heart is beating, then someone is living. And that's it. If a heart is beating, then someone is living. That's what it boils down to. I mean, why would you not pass this bill? Why would you not ask for a doctor to simply just check and make sure and see whether or not there's a heartbeat there? That's what we're talking about. And what we're saying here is, I mean, triage on the battlefield. Triage on the battlefield is assessing for signs of life. And the heartbeat is the #1 factor for assessing signs of life. Life. You're going to hear a lot of rhetoric in a few moments, I guarantee you. But I'll take this one to the floor and go to battle. Because in my opinion, if a heart is beating, then someone is living. And that's what it boils down to. If there's aspects of this bill people don't like, they're going to have to still get around. What does the heartbeat mean? I'm proud to be a member of the body, and I'm proud to carry the bill, and I hope to see you on the floor with it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. Okay, we're going to move to those that have signed up to speak. Again, same program. So the first speaker is going to be Elizabeth. Next is going to be Meg. Is that correct, Meg?
Yes.
Okay. So Elizabeth first and then Meg.
Thank you. I'll introduce myself again. I'm Elizabeth Potter Graham from Vestavia Hills in J.Bo Wagner's district. Good to see you again, Senator. The bill is blatantly unconstitutional. It has already been struck down by federal judges in the states of North Dakota and Arkansas. I'd like to quote to you from Eisenstadt versus Baird by the U.S. Supreme Court in 1972. If the right of privacy means anything, it is the right of the individual, married or single, to be free from unwarranted governmental intrusion into matters so fundamentally affecting a person as a decision whether to beget or bear a child. I ask that you vote no on this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Meg, you're the next speaker, and then after Meg, Taya.
My name is Meg Tilden, and I live in Huntsville, Alabama, and thank you for letting me speak. I am in opposition to this bill. Having a heartbeat does not mean that there is life. It means purely that there is a beating heart, and it is probably being done by spontaneous reason. My husband's heart continued to beat, although he could not breathe on his own. We cannot afford a bill like this to put a family member through this, knowing that a child is not viable, is inhumane. We should stop wasting our taxpayer money on unconstitutional bills and continue to work for children that are alive. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Taya? Did I say it right this time?
Yeah, you did.
Thank you.
And then Rosalind's going to be after you, okay?
Again, for the folks that came in late, I'm the State Organizing Associate at the National Abortion Federation. House Bill 490, would enact the most extreme ban on abortion care in this entire country. This bill criminalizes abortion care very early in pregnancy, before most women are even aware that they are pregnant, and would essentially ban nearly all abortion in Alabama. In addition, this bill is blatantly unconstitutional. The Supreme Court has consistently held that states may not ban abortion care before viability. This bill is a clear attempt to undermine a woman's constitutionally protected right to access abortion care. A similar bill was passed last year in North Dakota and immediately blocked by a federal judge. Alabama would be unwise to embroil itself in costly, lengthy litigation to defend a law that is quite clearly unconstitutional. Again, I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you all today, and thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Rosalind?
Rosalind McDermott, Huntsville, Alabama. And I have a statement here to make from a person who did not want to stand up and speak today, but is relevant to this. And she writes that my husband and I were married in the December of 1989. 3 months later, I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. I was only 30 years old. After 6 months of debilitating treatments, I began trying to rebuild my shattered life. Within months, I realized that I had missed my period and was pregnant. Now, obviously, I want to make a note that that was probably after the 6 weeks that this bill was cut off consideration. And we consulted my doctor, asked him if he thought we should consider having a child. His reply was a very emphatic, "Not if you were my wife." You see, when my cancer's pathology was tested, the results were very clear. It was the highest estrogen response level my doctor said he had ever seen. Estrogen literally fed my cancer. And so we chose to terminate the pregnancy to save my life. So I would ask you, who here would have presumed to make that decision for me instead of allowing my husband and I to choose what was right for us in this circumstance? Would you have forced me to carry to term, almost certainly hastening the return of my cancer and my early death? Safe abortion must always be available to women, period. Because if women aren't allowed control over their own bodies, allowed to choose whether or whether not to become mothers, then someone else is making the decision for us. And that is never okay. And I would add, that is never okay because we are full human beings in our own right, already existing in the world. And Roe v. Wade ruled that you cannot legislate the rights of someone who's not already in the world. A functioning person already in the world trumps the rights of a ghost. So I myself had never been forced to make such a decision because I was always very lucky to have access to very effective birth control. Planned Parenthood was in Huntsville at the time when I was young and faced with these issues. And now there is not Planned Parenthood there. So a lot of people are going to be left with less reliable birth control and have to make these decisions later on. You need to expand birth control so these decisions will not have to be made. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Next, Madhama.
That's fine. Sorry for my name.
You're going to have to pronounce it for me, okay?
Yeah. So my name is Madhumati Ramesh.
Thank you, ma'am.
I have a PhD in mechanical engineering. I live and work in Huntsville. I would first like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak here today. And I'm going to be speaking in opposition to the bills 490, 493, and 494. As many women in this room know, the starting of the menstrual period at puberty and the ending of it at menopause can be a long and painful process. And in between these is the monthly menstrual cycle, which, apart from the bleeding, consists of painful cramps, missed periods, missed work, missed classes, missed work, not missed periods, and the emotional upheaval that is called the PMS. This is also a lot of burden to carry for most of your life, even without becoming a mother. Nature has not given women a choice about carrying this burden. A cousin of mine suffered a cut and stitches during the birthing process. Another buried her stillborn baby, and another almost died of ectopic pregnancy. When women willingly get pregnant, they are willing to maim themselves for it. They are willing to risk their own life for it. When women willingly get pregnant, they eat healthy. They give up alcohol, which is very important. They also give up coffee and tea. They spend hours on those mommy websites sharing learning parenting techniques. They obsess over the color and texture of their baby's poop. They obsess over baby's nutritional, emotional, mental, and physical needs. They make sure that their child gets the best possible education and opportunities. Women who willingly become mothers raise happy and healthy children who grow up to become contributing and responsible members of a thriving community. Motherhood is a serious business, and women know if they are ready to take on this responsibility without extreme and burdensome legislation passed by politicians who are not going to be there when the bills are due or when children need to be disciplined. So if you want to build a thriving community, then you have to let women become a mother only when she wants to. Due to lack of sex education or due to failure of contraceptives, an unwanted pregnancy can happen. This is what happened to me when I was 21 years old and newly married. I was fortunate that abortion was available to me immediately, no questions asked, and with dignity. Treat women with dignity when they are making decisions about their fertility and pregnancy. Hence, I ask you to not pass these laws that are overly burdensome for women. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.